On this day last year, none of us would have guessed that we would be standing here today. At that time, we all believed we'd be split up for our senior year, sent to separate schools thanks to the shifting of attendance lines and the veracity to save money. No one knew what their future looked like, and if you all remember the class of 2008, remember that they were dead set on the idea that they were the last class to graduate Elderton High School. But today we proved them wrong. Here we stand, all 54 of us, the true last class of EHS, but not for long. I'm not here to talk about the future. I'm not going to tell you that this is your time to shine. The future is yours. It starts today. Go spread your wings. I'm not here to talk about that stuff. I'm here to talk about you, but more importantly, us, the class of 2009. On a warm day in the spring of 6th grade, the fire alarm went off. Containing township kids who had Mr. Webb as a homeroom teacher in the middle of math class. And that's where we sat well into the fire drill, because Mr. Webb couldn't hear it. Thankfully, Amanda had the sense to raise her hand and explain that she heard a ding-ding-dinging out in the hallway, and that we all made it out safely due to the fact the school was never actually on fire. A memory is a way of holding on to things you love, the things you are, and the things you never want to lose. In this moment, memories are more important to us than they have ever been. Now we will not see each other daily. We will no longer be able to make new memories with each other each day, so we must remember all the memories we have already made. Remember catching grasshoppers in pencil boxes? I saw you cruising in the Suburban today. Mrs. Kirkota swearing when the fire alarm went off. Mrs. Liptek pushing us on swings. Brennan and Bobby teaching us how to swing the right way. When Rachel beat Michael Cox at arm wrestling. Hoping Reba poked fun at her crones. That's decimals, baby. Or when Zach Ray straightened his hair. Remember Eric asking who's going to pay the hospital bills if he busted a nut carrying fruit. I really like dinosaurs, but I'm glad they're all dead. When Mrs. Spencer took an elbow to the chest, courtesy of Levi. Ugly sweater day. When Vince and Jesse chased down some underclassmen skippers. The Nalabanco catwalk. When Mr. Cloak tried to moo, or when he sang Who's Your Daddy. That deer you saw this morning? Yeah, it was a park bench. Or when finding that the rooms our classes were in was our biggest worry. Remember when Katie walked the whole way to Lori Wright's car before she yelled, "I'm not your mom," out the window? All the times we convinced Mrs. Cater to go to the teacher's lounge. Don't call me Hendy, I didn't jump out a copter over Nam for you to call me nicknames. Do you like Mrs. Moorhead's new purse? When my backpack was full of oranges. Happy funeral, that's an oxymoron. All those crazy classes we had with Miss Saran, and you didn't happen to mention the Underground Railroad, did you? Remember Gabby, Miss King, Mrs. Hale, Mr. McCullough, Mr. Polka, Mr. Philo, Jessica, Mr. Henninger, Miss Hamill, Devin, or do you remember Tabby? The most powerful moment for some of us, I would have to say, was this year's Marching Band Festival at West Shamokin. There, we took our final bow, most of us in tears. It was the best way I can think of to end an era, the final Elderton High School Bobcats Marching Band cordially thanking our last audience under the bright football lights on that cool September night. Like those dedicated performers, I'd also like to cordially thank every last one of you for being here tonight. This is for the teachers who stuck with us when their futures were and still are uncertain. Thank you. I'd name each one of you, but there's as many as you as there are in our class. You know who you are. This is for the custodians, who were always there to help us whenever we needed it. There are even a few write-ins for the yearbook to be dedicated to Rick. Thank you. This is for the school board representatives, who are always fighting for us. Thank you. This is for the parents who raised us to be all we could be. Thank you. This is for family and friends who never left our sides. Thank you. This is for my sister Ashton, who I was tied with for this position up until yesterday afternoon. This is for my father, without who we all probably wouldn't be standing here today. Thank you. But most of all, this is for us, the class of 2009. Who, from many a teacher's mouth, will be the most remembered class that they ever had. Thank you. For the
past 6 years, we've been roaming the hallways of EHS, where teachers help us with our homework, want us to do well on tests, and most importantly, have snacks for us when our tummies start to growl. Starting tomorrow, we are on our own, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the real world isn't all lollipops and unicorns like we thought. This realization hit me earlier this week when I used my hour of free time between practice and yearbook to do laundry so that I would have a clean uniform for work that night. Last year, or even a month ago, I would have used that hour for an afternoon power nap. In the real world, however, there's hardly time for napping. No one tells us how to spend our time or money, and no one is there to hold our hands. Vince, Mr. Cloak will never buy you apple juice again. I think that a lot of us have probably taken for granted the cocoon that high school actually is. Sure, at one point or another, we have all said that we're ready to be out of school. But someday, maybe not long from now, we'll think back and wish we were back in the halls of Elderton. Eventually, I think we'll come to miss the mismatched tiles and the combination locks that never open on the first try. Even with the hardships of the real world raining on our parades, I can tell you that my classmates and I will face the challenges it throws our way and conquer them. We will each find success in whatever we choose to do. And to prove that point, I'd like to tell you a little bit about just a few of them. First, Ben Rarick, who is one of the most hardworking people I've ever met. He'll do whatever is needed of him whenever it is needed, and he won't stop until it's completely done. Patrick Geary, who, like Ben, is always there for you when you need a hand. He ran the spotlight for us at Mr. Bobcat, and he's always helping Miss Vandergrift in the library. It's that kind of caring that will make him a winner. Amanda Frogner, the author of our senior video, is also one of my best friends, and she's an unbelievably imaginative person. Having a family is really important to Amanda, and I know that she will be an amazing mom someday, because she has the patience to teach, the creativity to play, and the willingness to learn. Melissa Gizzy, who's been by my side mixing Kool-Aid in the library after school on Wednesdays, for the elementary students of Big Brothers Big Sisters tutoring all year long, works hard at school, then stays after school and works some more, then goes to a game and shows some Bobcat pride on the cheerleading squad. I wish I could say that perseverance and effort is all that we need to be a success. But in the pesky real world I mentioned before, the successes need a little something more. They need to have a persona. Or if you've read Death of a Salesman, like each member of the senior class, they need to be well-liked. John Williard has one of the biggest personalities in our class. He and the many funny guys of the class of 2009, like Thane Vickers and Brandon DeFalco and Zach Ray, have made my high school career a total blast, and I'm sure I won't be the only one to miss all of their crazy antics. Amanda Toy is an extremely outgoing person, probably outgoing enough for our entire class. She never hesitates to speak her mind, and she wears her heart on her sleeve. Someday, when she's a district attorney, she can use her booming voice and powers of persuasion to put away all the bad guys in Armstrong County. I promised myself that I would keep this speech short because the Pens are playing tonight and many of us want to see the outcome of this very important Game 4. So just to wrap up, the real world may suck, but my classmates are awesome enough to overcome the suck and do great things.
This year's class president is Anna Steitner. Anna is the daughter of Donald and Sharon Steitner of Catani. Anna has been highly involved with numerous activities and has received numerous awards, some of which include Student Council, Leo Club, National Honor Society. She's a member of the tennis team, class president. She was our Armstrong School District student board school representative. She was in band, chorus. She received several awards that you have just heard. She's also been very, very active in things outside of West Shamokin. She participates in her church. She is and belongs to the PA Rabbit Breeders Association, World Council of Pittsburgh Seminar participant. She takes piano lessons, violin lessons. She has been Crooked Creek for a president and secretary. She has volunteered for St. Vincent de Paul Food Bank and the thrift store. She has also been a member of the Foothills Horse and Pony Association. Anna's future plans include attending St. Vincent College and will major in political science and elementary education with a minor in music. And now, Miss Anna Steitner.
When thinking back, I find it amazing that I'm able to speak to you tonight during this celebration when 6 years ago I knew absolutely no one on this stage. In fact, 6 years ago, I hated the idea of coming here. I went to elementary school at Divine Redeemer in Ford City, and I was so angry at my parents at the time for separating me from the people I had known since I was 3 years old and who were all going to Ford City High School. Now, thinking of all the extraordinary teachers, students, and friends I would not have met and made here otherwise, I am truly grateful that my parents ignored my tantrums and protests and decided to send me here anyway. As we all have, I learned so many invaluable lessons during my time as a student here. During junior high, I never bothered too much to make friends outside beyond my lunch table, and instead focused my time on earning straight A's, practicing my instruments, and spending time with my family. However, I believe one of the most enlightening moments occurred during my 8th grade awards assembly. Mrs. Rasinski probably doesn't remember this, but when I came up to receive my Distinguished Honor Roll certificate and t-shirt, she shook my hand and said, "Congratulations, I've never seen you before." It was then that I began to realize that grades, numbers, and names on a piece of paper aren't everything. Even though those things have their merit to some extent, what is more important is your relationships with the people that you love, the people that you work with, and everybody in between. I'm proud to have known and befriended my fellow seniors in the time we have had together. Certainly, we have skinned cats together in biology, compared SparkNote summaries when no one had remembered to read the assigned chapters of Brave New World, and attempted to understand the foreign languages of algebra, trigonometry, and calculus. By spending 6 hours a day with each other for 180 days a year of the past 6 years, we have experienced so much together outside of school as much as we have inside these walls because of the relationships we have built. We have created beautiful music and art together. We have attended Broadway shows. We have traveled and vacationed with each other. We have had adventures everywhere between Squad Room and Prairie Dog on this very stage. We have traveled all over Western Pennsylvania to support our soccer, baseball, volleyball, basketball, tennis, cross country, and even football athletes in their victorious matchups against other teams. We've watched each other experience success and disappointment, fall in and out of love, and both mature and regress. We have even welcomed new faces, but regretfully bid farewell to other beloved friends. Our school has meant so much to us, and we have always strived to make the best of our time here. The class of 2009 is one that this school and its faculty will remember forever. We have had more athletic participation, academic achievement, and artistic expression than most other graduating classes could ever hope to have accomplished. I know that because of all that we have learned and gone through here, I'm confident that we are ready to take on the hardships, the challenges, and obstacles that we will be faced with in our future. In fact, we have survived high school and are receiving our diplomas tonight, knowing that we have been the very embodiment of maturity, high intellect, and respect at all times. For instance, we never left our hotel rooms on school trips when our doors were duct taped shut. We never jumped out of the second-story balcony of our room to the water below on a class trip. We never felt the need to discover a secret passageway to our alma mater. And we were never irresponsible enough to drop our cell phones in the toilet at the Air and Space Museum, lose the battery on the bus, and then lose the whole thing again at Cedar Point. And also, we were never, ever confused about whether or not Amelia Earhart is still alive. We are leaving as scholars, musicians, artists, writers, entertainers, athletes, and even magicians. Someday we'll be doctors, engineers, lawyers, teachers, entrepreneurs, political scientists, defenders of our freedom, and even mothers and fathers ourselves. On a personal note, I would like to thank some very special people in my life that have helped me through this journey. To my parents, Mom and Dad, thank you for filling our house with books from J.K. Rowling to Mark Twain, for being there at every recital, concert, banquet, teacher conference, and dinner to support me. Mom, thank you for telling me whatever project I completed or whatever essay I wrote was wonderful. And Dad, thank you for doing the same, but also telling me what I could work on for the next time. To my brother and sister, Andrew and Sarah, I hope that you find the motivation you need to achieve your potential in everything you pursue, and the appreciation for the people and memories that you have encountered here in high school when it is your turn to move on. I love you both. Finally, to the class of 2009, we've experienced everything together, and now we are ready to start the next chapter of our lives as independent individuals. I wish you all the best of luck and success you need, but more importantly, I hope that we will find happiness in always remembering the friends we made here at West Shamokin. Fellow members of the class of 2009, I urge you that in all that is to come, never forget this night, these years, and our friendship. Congratulations, and thank you.
Good evening. On behalf of the class of 2009, I would like to thank you for attending our commencement ceremony. I am honored to stand here this evening representing my class. I would first like to direct a quote from the popular television series One Tree Hill to my fellow classmates. Take a look at yourself in the mirror. Who do you see looking back? Is it the person you want to be, or is there someone else you are meant to be? The person you should have been but fell short of? Is someone telling you that you can't or you won't because you can? Believe that love is out there. Believe that dreams come true every day because they do. Sometimes happiness doesn't come from money or fame or power. Sometimes happiness comes from good friends and family and from the quiet nobility of leading a good life. Believe that dreams come true every day because they do. So take a look in that mirror and remind yourself to be happy because you deserve to be. Believe that. And believe that dreams come true every day because they do. Happiness comes from good friends, family members, and life experiences. I would like to take a moment to thank a few special people that have supported me through good times and bad. To my friends, these 13 years would have been impossible without you. To my family, you've put up with me through so much, and I know that I can be difficult at times. And just think, the college years are just beginning. To my teachers and the staff at West Shamokin, you each have played a significant role in the reason I'm standing before you today. From the bottom of my heart, I thank everyone who has been a part of these wonderful and crazy years. You have given me memories that I can look back on and smile. To my fellow graduates, I wish you happiness and success through your years to come. I hope you believe that your dreams will come true someday as long as you continue to strive to your highest potential and never lose sight of your goals. We have been waiting forever for this moment, and now we're forced to leave everything that is considered normal behind. It's a hard task, but it is time for us to stand on our own and begin our journey into the future. I'm going to end with a quote by Alexander Gaspar. Always consider that your life will venture in new directions, but be aware that others will do the same. And in accordance, understand that to be happy, people must exist in their own light, cast in and of themselves, not by the light of their peers. So to the class of 2009, it's our time to shine. Congratulations. Best wishes and thank you for all the wonderful years at Western Lincoln High School.
Mr. Burns, Mr. Lorigan, board members, and faculty members, welcome to the commencement ceremony of the class of 2009. Once upon a time. Those 4 words are probably the reason I am standing up here today. Ever since I was little, I have loved to read. My mom tells me that I used to make her read me the toy catalog at Christmas time, including the weight, price, and dimensions of each toy. I'm happy to say that I can now read on my own. My parents always encouraged me to read and never told me no when I wanted to buy a book. I want to take the time right now to thank them for nurturing that part of me. I really believe that alone will have an enormous impact in my life. I inherited my love of reading from my dad. We have over 400 books in our house. Believe me, I counted them. I've had some free time since classes were done. Reading is not only an essential and necessary part of life, it can also be an enjoyment. Mrs. Yammer, how many times have I come to you and said, we need this book in the library, or did this book come in yet? Or, I just read this book, you have to check it out. I've probably helped you max out the library budget. Reading has helped to mold me into who I am today, much in the same way that high school helps mold us into adults. High school is like the kiln in which we, the clay, bake. Before high school, we have a shape, but we are easily changed and molded to the will of others. Throughout high school, we become more definite in who and what we are. As the years pass by, we become stronger. But it sure is hot in that oven. We have to write papers, do projects, study for tests we forgot we had, and make our way out of piles of homework that we put off for too long. I can't tell you how many times after getting an assignment, I said that I would pace myself and not wait until the last minute. Well, I always waited until the last minute. I guess I work well under pressure. In that oven, we sweated with stress. We had to deal with disagreements amongst friends. We had to take responsibility for our actions. We had to mature. After my junior year, I thought that all the stressing was done. We had worked hard all these years, and senior year was the year that we could relax, sit back, and enjoy ourselves. We were wrong. Senior year is a whole different type of stress. We have to stress whether our SAT scores are high enough. We had to write entrance exams. We had to apply for scholarships. We had to apply to college. College? We couldn't believe it. We're too young to go to college. There has to be a mistake. But there wasn't. We had grown up. I think we stumbled upon this realization sometime last week. We don't know what will happen next. We're scared and excited for whatever our futures have in store for us. To quote Dr. Seuss's book, Oh, the Places You'll Go, kids, you'll move mountains. To my class, I would just like to say thank you for helping to shape me into who I am today. I will leave you with a quote from the television show Everwood. If you're feeling frightened about what comes next, don't be. Embrace the uncertainty. Allow it to lead you places. Be brave as it challenges you to exercise both your heart and your mind as you create your own path towards happiness. Don't waste time with regret. Spin wildly into your next action. Enjoy the present each moment as it comes, because you'll never get another one quite like it. And if you should ever look up and find yourself lost, simply take a breath and start over. Retrace your steps and go back to the purest place in your heart, where your hope lives. You'll find your way again. Thank you.